with the questions. Thank you.
So, a very good morning to all of you. Is the mic working? Yes. It's extremely heartening to see such a large audience for such an interesting topic. This is the first FICCI Future-X event. We are starting with the lecture series on the title Demystifying AI, Data, Design, and Disruption. I think I need a light over here because I can't see. So friends, dignitaries from the industry, academia, FICCI members, and students, ladies and gentlemen, it really is a very heartening moment for all of us at FICCI to launch this very futuristic lecture series. And I would like to thank you all for taking out your valuable time and being with us to share this moment. We do have a lot of change makers and opinion thought leaders with us today, but I would like to acknowledge 3 of them. 2 of them are already with us here, and 1 is yet to join. So I would like to first welcome Mr. Bijay Sahu, who is the chairman of our FICCI Skill Development Committee and also the Group HR President of Reliance Industry Limited. We have with us our first Future X speaker, Ms. Nivriti Rai. She is the country head of Intel India and also the co-chair of FICCI Skill Development Committee. Please give a big round of applause to both our thought leaders. We will be joined shortly by Mr. M.P. Punia, Vice Chairman of AICTE, who is also a proponent of future technologies. And we would be interested in to listen from him what government has been doing in this particular aspect. We also have certain guests from us from Argentina, Australia, and New Zealand Embassy. Welcome to all of you, and please give yourself a big round of applause for being here. Friends, FICCI has always positioned itself as a thought leader and a change agent organization. And FICCI Future-X is one such intervention that aims to simplify and take concepts, opportunities, and challenges that are emerging out of the Industry 4.0 technologies to the future of our country, and that is the youth of our country. And that's the reason why we took a lot of pain to reach out to universities, colleges, schools, and insisted that we get the students also participate in this event. And along with that, we needed their mentors, so teachers, faculty members, and also industry. And I can see a lot of our industry members who are here to be part of this intervention. FICCI always wants to be part of the transformative story of India, and particularly when it is talking about futuristic concepts and thought processes. We like to give that thought leadership and ideas and recommendations to the government so that we can, as a country, deal with the futuristic disruptions that will emerge out of it. And we have been working on this, not today, but for almost a decade now. To give you an example, in 2009, we did a report on third industrial revolution, when nobody in India was talking about it. And we came up with the mega trends that will be impacting the country and the global economy. And at that point of time, we were talking about future of work, the changing models of business and education. And we did the report, we took it to the government, but as a country, we were not prepared to deal with those changes. In 2016, when World Economic Forum came up with the Industry 4.0 report, we were one of the first organizations to do a study on Industry 4.0 and preparedness of BRICS nations in skill development to meet the needs of Industry 4.0. That triggered the government to actually set up a lot of working groups and committees to start thinking about Industry 4.0 and looking at the various policies that are needed to change and reform, because the study actually revealed that India was nowhere prepared to deal with these challenges. Thereafter, we came up with the Future of Job report, which was released in 2017. We looked at 5 sectors, namely automobile, BFSI, IT, ITS, retail, and textiles and apparel. And the whole idea was to see what these Industry 4.0 technologies were doing to these sectors and impacting in changing the job roles. There was a lot of talk about obsolescence of jobs. And the report actually revealed that it was not so scary a scenario. If there were 10% of jobs that were being obsolete, then there were 10% of new jobs that were being created. But the tricky part was that 37% of the existing jobs were actually being required new skill sets that we were not prepared, nor our education system was prepared to impart it to our students. And that also triggered a lot of, ministries and regulators like AICTE and all to look at how they need to reform the engineering and school education systems. For example, CBSE has been coming up with reforms, etc. I'm not saying that FICCI is the only organization that's doing this work, but we are one of the forerunners in doing such studies. So the whole idea was, how do we leverage our networks, our linkages with the international and national organizations and academic institutions, bring the thought leadership onto one platform and help our students, our faculty members, our teachers to get updated on what is happening, how do you embrace these new technologies, how do you leverage them to prepare a new career out of these technologies. Hence, we came up with this FICCI Future-X series. It has 3 components. One is the lecture series. So we are kicking off the program with this lecture. We do have other 2 components, which are the capacity building program for faculty, and that we want to co-create with the help of faculty and the leadership in the industry and other academics institutions, so that it helps in developing our faculty. And when I say it's not Delhi, it's not metro cities, but we want to go deeper into India where, these facilities are not available. And that is why we are using technology so that we can reach out to, people in the interiors, in the tier 2, tier 3 cities, institutions, the SME, part of the industry, etc. And the third component is the immersion program, where we want to actually help and mobilize, students, faculty, and institutions that are interested in doing innovation, take them and connect them to the, those institutions that have developed very rich models, innovative models that are, driving prototyping and commercialization of innovation, and bring those practices back to our country. So these are the 3 intended programs. And as all programs need champions and thought leaders, we too have our own champions and thought leaders. So to begin with this program, we set up a FICCI Futurist task force, where we have contribution and ideas coming from all these members, by which today we are standing here and we were able to put up this program. So I would like to acknowledge few of them. So we have Ms. Veena Swaroop. Ma'am, thank you so much for being with us. Shweta Rajpal from Salesforce, Dipakshi from Dell, Dr. Dali Koshi is here, and he has been a champion always. Then we have companies like Uber, Facebook, HP, Upgrad, and several other task force members. And of course, a special thanks to Intel, for providing us the thought leadership and the ideas that you will be sharing with us today. Last but not the least, I want to acknowledge Vinnie Jory. She's sitting right at the back, and her team from Microsoft that actually has offered us their technology called Team, which will help us to actually penetrate down into the industry. So we did think that we will have Dr. Punya with us to start off with, but since he has not arrived yet, what I would suggest is that we will move ahead with our future talk. And before I invite Nivruti, I just wanted to share with you that this entire talk of future technologies brings in a nostalgia, and when I reminisce, actually when I was in college, and that was in 80s, we used to see these technologies part of science fiction movies. And there was a movie called Back to the Future where I remember seeing those flying cars and, seeing video phones, etc., which is a reality today. And so therefore, the concept of artificial intelligence is nothing new. This was present way back in 1950s when the English mathematician Alan Turing actually wrote a paper on computational machinery and intelligence. And later, in the later part of 50s, John McCarthy actually coined the word artificial intelligence. But today we are talking about it because it is impacting our day-to-day lives and workspaces. And there is this fear phobia that what is it going to do to us in the future? Nivruti is going to bust that myth for us. May I just introduce her to you? She is a lady with a passion who wants to take AI to every common man in this country. She is also responsible for putting up the AI policy with Niti Aayog. As the country head of Intel and head of chip maker's largest R&D unit outside of USA, and I heard her talk about how many innovations that they have done from their India office. Nivruti is recognized for pioneering the use of technique called error-correcting codes to reduce operating voltages and memories. Her other notable work include championing the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning to enhance road safety in the country through agreements with state governments, and collaborating with the Consulate General of Israel to drive innovation and connect startups from both the nations. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome Ms. Nivruti Rai, Country Head Intel India, to give the first FICCI Future-X lecture.